this meeting to order and state that this meeting is being held in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231. It was properly noticed and has been posted and certified by the clerk. Please call the roll.
Mr. Hofferkamp.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Ms. Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Schindler.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Young's not here. Mayor Francis.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
Which
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please join me in a moment of silence for Bill O'Connor's sister who passed away recently. Thank you. There are no proclamations tonight, so we'll go to committee reports. Dawn?
I don't have anything new this week, Mayor. Everything is going very well, but thank you.
All right. Brad?
Mayor, as you know, the Finance Committee started meeting with BA Ron Tappan and CFO Lorraine Rossetti regarding the 2022 borough fiscal budget. I would just like to say that based upon everyone's hard work, the borough's fund balance is at a very healthy level, and we maintain an excellent credit rating. We look forward to more meetings to wrap up this year's budget and present it in the near future to the council and public. On another matter, as a matter of public safety, I would like to reiterate to the lakefront residents the importance of properly operating ice bubblers and ice eaters. You cannot turn them on and let them run continuously. Use of timers and thermostats are highly recommended. Unfortunately, after receiving numerous complaints regarding residents who have let their devices run and opened up large bodies of water in violation of our ordinances, the zoning office has recently mailed out quite a number of violation notices. So all we're asking is just to be smart and keep an eye on what you're doing out there in the water. If you have any questions, we have information right in the borough center hall there coming into the town hall. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Rich.
I'd just like to reiterate what Councilman Hofferkamp said about the Finance Committee. We did have a great meeting, and my hat's off to Lorraine and Ron putting together a good preliminary budget to go through. We're working hard on it, and I think we're going to end up with a nice budget coming forward here. Secondly, just want to give a heads up to everyone. We are going to be going through a revaluation of real estate values in the town. So just, I don't know exactly when the notices will go out, but they will be coming out sometime in the spring for people coming out and revaluing your property. And that's all I have.
Thank you. John, welcome.
Yes, please excuse my tardiness. A little bit of trouble here, and I excuse my video. Things are not normal, but anyway, thank you, Mayor. I would like to report, first of all, Recreation had their reorg meeting. Sue Gorglione is chair once again. She's been doing a great job. The first thing they did was they reviewed Santa in the Park. They were all very pleased with it. And they noted that going forward, they're going to be merging more of their events with the Hopatcong Marketplace because Santa in the Park was such a success for the last 2 years. The one event they're not going to be merging with is the Easter egg hunt because they do that at Vets Field. Vets Field works better for that. They had some discussion about street hockey. As a matter of fact, I think it was in the consent agenda is a resolution for the street hockey fees, which are the same as they were last year. And also pertaining to street hockey, they're going to be purchasing new nets for the hockey rink. And I just want to note that they decided to take the cost of those nets out of their trust fund So it actually doesn't come out of taxpayer dollars. They discussed some of the upcoming events. The first one coming up will be the Easter egg hunt, which I mentioned is at Vets Field. That's going to be Saturday, April 9th, with the rain date of April 10th, and it's from 12 to 3. Municipal Alliance, we met the other night. We are working very hard with Sussex County Center for Prevention and the schools, trying to get programs in the schools. But of course, with situations the way they are, that's very difficult, and I'm sure everybody's aware of that. We've also had discussion about trying to put together another hidden in plain sight program. We'd like to do it in person. We're working on that. If not, we may put something together on a virtual basis, or perhaps even put together some kind of video that we put on some social media. And we're also trying to get some movie nights put together. That may actually not happen until the weather warms up. Also, not being a committee, I want to mention one of our younger Hopatcong residents, high school student. And Jen, if I'm stepping on your toes or stealing any of your thunder, I really apologize. But I've known this young man since he's 5 years old, and I really want to mention this. Michael Mastroeni, who's a senior at our high school, was awarded Young Man of the Year by the SFC. And I want to explain a little bit. The SFC, Super Football Conference, is the largest high school football conference in the country. They awarded 130 players from various schools and awarded them Young Man of the Year during this past football season. From those 130, they narrowed it down to 70. And from that 70, through essays and things like that, they narrowed it down to the top 8. Michael Mastroeni, one of our seniors, was one of those top 8. And what they go by is not just their performance on the field, but academically and things they do within the community. So Michael was one of the 8 finalists. I believe the young man who actually took the whole competition was from Chatham. I don't know his name, but nonetheless, being one of the final 8 out of a starting group of 130, that's quite an achievement for Michael. However, if you know Mikey as well as I do, you're not really surprised. So again, I apologize, Jen, if you were going to say something on that, but I just wanted to mention that, Michael Mastroeni got this award from the SFC. Thank you. Oh, whoever put that up, thank you. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Good. Let's get that on the big board, Ron. Ryan, you're up.
Okay. Information from the Sussex County Municipal Utilities Authority. I'll start there. The next paper shredding events are January 21st and February 18th. The next Sharps disposal event is February 3rd. Our next Chamber of Commerce meeting is February 11th. And I also wanted to congratulate Michael Mastriani on winning that award, Man of the Year 2022. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Jen, you're up.
All right. Frazzled. So congratulations to Michael for Man of the Year. What an incredible achievement. I met with the ambulance squad yesterday for their regular monthly meeting. And I think I'm bad luck for them because they got called out. And this is the second time in a row it's happened. The first time they got 3 calls within an hour and had to cancel the meeting. So I told them if they want me to attend virtually, that's fine because they seem to be bad luck. So they actually had requested and it would have to be a budget question possibly, is changing or adding to the donation that the town gives to the ambulance department is in addition to that one lump sum that's remained like pretty stagnant for quite a few years, is they have actually requested that we pay, it's a really nominal fee. It would end up being about $5,400 in addition to the $40 that we give them as a gift, as a donation toward the ambulance department. And that money would be spent to send the people that they need to send to EMT school. It's $1,700 a person, and they only send between 1 and 3 people a year. But just getting, being able to give them that would help get EMTs in. There is a large shortage of EMTs, especially volunteer EMTs, and even our paid staff are going to the hospitals and going to specialty services. They're getting huge bonuses and incredible pay raises. So our EMTs are short-staffed, but they're going to show up. They're really working their butts off. I wanted to thank the PBA, specifically Officer Still, for the dinner donation on December 23rd that I was able to be a part of. It was wonderful. I wanted to wish a happy retirement to former Chief Bob Brennan, and good luck to Acting Chief Megan McCluskey. That's all.
Thank you. Ron, administrative report.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. Yeah, I'd like to tag along with Councilman Schindler's report on the reval. Part of the process is to go out to bid for the company that would be doing the revaluation, and we're seeking proposals from other municipalities that have done this in the past. So we're going to solicit those proposals and put those into a bid document that will go out for official bidding for the company that will come in and do the actual valuations. So that's going to take some time. Talking with the tax assessor this day, it looks like it's going to be early summer before any of the physical boots on the ground type of evaluations will be happening, and it'll probably be the fall before we get anywhere towards any of the finalizations of that. So there's a couple of processes that the council is going to have to consider here in the next couple of months. Is that the state allows us, because this is a very large number. This is a huge dollar amount to get this done. The state allows the borough to go into an emergency funding process, will allow us to fund this over a 5-year period. So you'll see a resolution coming on sometime early spring that will authorize us to do that. So it's a process that we have to go through. It's a lot to do before the evaluations start. But yes, this year you will start to see those things come through. I guess what I'd like to do at this point too is just hands off to my DPW crew. We are down. We are down 6 people, but at the end of the day, they still get the job done. And when I say I'm down 6 people, I had 2 people that are not here anymore. I have 2 people with COVID, and I'm sure the mayor's going to talk about that. And I have 2 people that have gone out on personal injury for whatever it's worth. So we have been begging and borrowing and stealing and been happy to have some people help us with that. But we are focused on the event that's going to happen tonight, and we'll continue to do that. Salt supplies are very healthy right now. Our new salt supplier comes from a mine up in upstate New York and has guaranteed us a supply. We will not be held hostage by cargo ships waiting at the dock. We will not be held hostage by the Brazil mining fundings. The company we're buying it from has a unlimited supply of salt, and that's a good thing to know in this time in the season. Real quickly, the generator at the pound is being put in. The generator is set. They're going to be wiring and setting up the fuel lines for that, so we'll have automatic generation at the pound. The elevator at Firehouse number 3 is being pre-assembled at the warehouse. They're going to prefab as much of it that they can bring in at one time, so when they get here to install it, it'll make that process a little quicker. And actually, that's about all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ron. I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting to the public.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 An opportunity is given to the public for commentary. Comments are limited to one comment, no more than 5 minutes. Okay, Ron, you got it.
Okay, I'd ask anyone that wants to make a comment, please go to your lower right reactions button, hit it and raise your hand, and I'll get you in the meeting.
Any hands up?
I've got one. Here we go. Mara, you're on. Mara, I got you. Are you on?
Mute my audio. All right. Did you call me?
Okay.
Well,
no,
I had Mara's hand up,
couldn't
but
I couldn't unmute.
I heard somebody say Rohan.
Okay. Okay, you're okay, Rohan. Mary, you're up.
Okay. I have a question about the bill list, 21-01503. It's Aaron Razak for rehabilitation work for $4,950. I was wondering what we were really rehabilitating. And page 7, it's a clerical, it says January 6th, 2021 instead of 2022. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, that's all I see in the audience that has raised their hand. Mayor, you're muted.
Yes, I am. They've been trying to do that forever.
Yeah, we
you want to bring it back?
Make a motion to bring it back.
I'll
Second.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're back. Would you look into that bill, Ron?
No, I can explain that now. That is our HUD program. That is the contractor that does our HUD work for people who have applied for rehabilitation on their homes. That's the contractor that does that for us. I don't know specifically what house that's on. I think that's confidential, but that is our HUD program providing that process to a resident.
Yeah, if it's Aaron, it's probably a septic issue.
Maybe, but that comes in the HUD program.
Okay. All right. Hopefully that helps. Now we're at approval of minutes. Approval of the 12/15/2021 executive minutes.
Mayor, since we're all eligible, I would like to move the 12/15 executive meeting and the January 5th reorganization meeting together. Are we okay with that?
Are we okay with that, Valerie?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
I'll second that.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Go
Ms.
on, you're
Roberts?
muted.
You're
Go on,
muted,
you're
Dawn.
muted.
I apologize. I just want to clarify, this is for 12/15/21 and 1/5/22?
Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
yes.
Mr. Smith,
Did that incorporate that one correction I sent in?
yes.
Then yes, I approve.
And Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2022-24, approval of the
Mike-
bill.
So we
Mayor,
have
Have
to
to
do
move
the,
the regular minutes?
I will move the minutes of 12/15/21.
I'll
Second.
second.
We did that. Well, go ahead. Call the roll.
Go on,
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Abstain.
Mr. Schindler,
yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes,
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2022-24, approval of the bill list.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone need anything out or discussed?
Yes, I do. I need 21-01503. And
What was that
then,
number again?
oh, I'm so sorry. 21-01503.
Okay.
And then are we able to get, never mind. That's it.
Okay. Mayor, I will move the bill list excluding 21-01503. I'm sorry, 21-01503.
So move. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
and Mr. Young.
Yes. Mayor, I would like to now move item number 21-01503.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Abstain.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Approval of the consent agenda.
I'll move it.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
There are no introduction ordinances. There are no final hearings. Resolutions. Resolution 2022-30, purchase of a vehicle for animal control.
So move
I'll
it.
move. Go ahead, Rich.
So move it.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2022-37, authorization for the 2023 Municipal Alliance Grant.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
So this is all of this, right? Is the whole grant? It's like $9,000 total.
Right.
If you add those three things up, right? And
Yeah.
that's the grant? Okay, yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Sorry. Yes.
okay, sorry, Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2022-38, establishment of the Hudson Sewer Assessment Commission.
So
So
move it.
moved.
Second.
Second.
And that would be the appointment of the three people, right, Valerie?
Yeah, yes, the names that are on the resolution, yes.
Yeah, that would be Anthony Bongiovanni, Michael Smith, and Lisa Hirschfield.
What is the commission for?
John, explain that, because it's a check and balance.
Sure. So in order to have any special tax assessment, the statute requires you to set up a commission. The council refers the special assessment issue to them. They do an analysis where they certify the costs of the project. So they come up with a total, that engineering and administration would give them. They didn't decide how the assessment should be applied to property owners. And they have a requirement that they have to follow, that there's a benefit to each property, the proportionality of the assessments. And then they do a report recommending the assessment to the council. So they're essentially a formal committee with a somewhat structured task. Given the nature of the assessment here for Hudson Ave, I would expect them to have to meet, a few times. I don't want to predict ahead of time, but their meetings are noticed to the public, and they do their work, in public with transparency, and they make a report to the council, and the council adopts the findings.
So, but this is a project that's already finished.
Correct. So but this isn't regarding whether you should do the project. This is whether or not there should be a tax assessment or a sewer assessment to the property owners.
Okay, so then where's everybody else's sewer assessment commission for the other 3,000 properties that we sewered back in 06?
So that's not what they call a special assessment. If you take a fee and you apply it to the entire system, that's something the council just does directly, as the example you gave with water and sewer. But anytime that you take a specific part of town and you did a sidewalk project and you decided that you were going to assess the beneficiaries in that neighborhood for the sidewalk project, you would have a special assessment. A sewer line is something similar. There's a number of circumstances where a special assessment is appropriate, and this group would be appointed to handle it. Dam assessments is another one where it's again a limited area of the town, and there's a determination needed as to finalizing the cost, figuring out how the assessment would be applied, and sometimes there's tiers and different dollar amounts, but given the nature of the Hudson Ave project, I think it's pretty well broadcast what the expectation is as to how the assessments will be done, but you still have to go through this process.
Okay, thank you.
John, you want to add too that back in October of 2020, October 21st specifically, we passed ordinance number 31-2020 that established this commission and the requirements are set forth.
All right, hope that was helpful.
You want me to call the roll now, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Schindler,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Okay, is there any old business? New business?
I have something that I'd like to discuss with the council, if that's possible.
Sure.
I'm a little concerned about the way that information is distributed among not just council, but also for individual departments. I know that there used to be a master email list that went out to the heads of departments. I know specifically like when we're having an event, that the police, the DPW, the fire, EMS, September 11th, that there was a master email list that went out to everybody, notifying them and inviting them to come. And speaking to some of the people in those departments, the way that they're finding out about events is through Facebook. And I don't think that that is a reliable source of information. And I'm wondering if we could talk about maybe putting together a master email list for departments that need to be notified of these kinds of things. The second concern that I have is really the way that information is passed and given to council. For instance, the Northwood Fire Lane, to me, that was a surprise. That was news. And I found out on an agenda. Raises, staffing changes. There was a staffing change just recently because somebody went out on disability and there was somebody temporarily hired, but I feel like I'm lacking information. So when people come to me and they say, hey, I heard that you hired this new person in this department, I'm like, what? I have no idea. And again, like with land use issues, I mean, if your response to me is I have to attend land use board meetings and not say anything, I can absolutely do that. And that's no big deal. but like Hudson Maxim School is turning into a Hudson Maxim School of music. But like, I would like to be notified of that as a sitting council member. And so I wanted to kind of discuss that with the council about how they felt about that, those two things.
I would like to say something. So Jennifer, you bring up a point like
Who's
about the
talking?
school.
Who's talking? Oh, I'm sorry, Rich. Okay.
You bring up this topic about like the Hudson Maxim School. Specifically that those people haven't even come in front of us yet. We don't know what they are going to do. So we're still waiting for them to come. So there is no communication to the rest of the council regarding that. I wish there was. I wish we can come, you would know something, but I think what you're hearing is just feedback on Facebook or someone hearing something else and saying something to you. You have to be prepared to say, I don't know. Let me find out, that type of thing. And I think it comes down to a lot with Ron. Ron is really the manager of all the employees. We don't manage the employees. Ron does. And actually the mayor oversees Ron as in the organizational chart.
Right.
So, I think that's part of the issue, what you're sensing, because you're hearing some things from the outside. And
I don't like to be caught off guard and kind of made, right? Like, so when Northwood came up, that was just on an agenda. It had obviously been discussed in some way, shape, or form somewhere. And then it just showed up on an agenda. And it was like, well, where did this come from? Why did this happen? How did this get here? It's kind of like, I feel like I'm always, and again, I'm not going to speak for anybody, but I always feel like I'm, and I don't know if it's I don't want to assume that it's on purpose because I try not to personalize anything, but is it that I'm being left out of discussions and the information is I'm not getting the information until it's on an agenda, and then I have to play catch up, which is why, Valerie and Lorraine and Ron get emails from me all the time. What is this? Or I'll call Mike. What is this? Explain it to me. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? How did this get here? And they all offer perfect explanations, but it's almost like I'm playing catch up every meeting.
But you have to realize, though, that you and I, and other members really shouldn't be discussing certain things in private.
We're not discussing. We're not discussing it. We're being informed of it.
Okay, but I don't need to know everything that's happening over at the community center that Dawn is handling. Okay, but I find out that stuff on the agenda. And if I have a real question, I will call Val or Dawn or the mayor and find out. That's just my opinion, but
Well, really, the agenda is the way that the council gets official notification, and if something is deliberative, it's really difficult unless you're personally involved. If you were involved with Northwood community and there were issues, of course, we would have discussion of that. But the council as a whole is informed of that when we introduce an ordinance or talk about the issues, whatever, as we are now. And that's how we address that. But really, the agenda is the official way that the council is formally apprised of any and all issues. I'm going to talk about stuff when I talk, and so I'll go into what I'm going to say. Did that help you?
No, not at all.
All right.
Because I know that it hasn't always been like this, where it's the agenda is where it is, and that's it. I know that there were in July and August, Ron gave us personnel updates, right? When we had the switch over in the one department and the switch over in the other department, there was a personnel report that came out. That was awesome. That was great. I like to know things because I don't like to be caught off guard. And as sitting council members, you guys should also not want to be caught off guard. When somebody asks you a question, of course, sometimes there's going to be the answer, let me get back to you, which is often my answer. But when it's something that I feel that we as a council should know already, then it's kind of embarrassing, I'll say.
at the end of the day, what I want to say is that, you know, you guys,
Whoa.
Rowan, you cannot speak.
what?
You cannot speak, Rowan. Mute, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, to your point, Jennifer, we'll talk about improving that type of communication, but there's a line that we watch. So when it comes to personnel, the council, the political body doesn't manage our personnel.
No, just notification.
Yeah.
Just
All right.
notification. I'm not saying that we have to be involved in every decision that's made in the borough. I'm saying notification.
Okay. Point well taken.
Okay. And then the other one was the email list. Can we do that? The master email list?
Yeah.
How do we feel about
What
that?
are you talking about the rescue squad, the police department, DPW? What are you talking about?
Yes. Well, not, yes.
Listen, if I got to tell them, if I have to tell any of them that we're having a 911 ceremony, if I have to email them and tell them we're having a 911 ceremony, shame on us. We will, if that helps. Everybody in this borough's administration knows what we're going to do and when we're going to do it. They do. And that's the police, that's the rescue, that's the fire, that's the DPW, because every one of them plays a part before we have that event. They all know it. Now, if it will make you more comfortable that we send everybody an email saying we'd like you to come, we can do that.
It's not about
But
what
don't
I'm
assume-
comfortable with.
Don't
I'm comfortable
assume.
with
No,
if
no.
I've been asked for.
Don't assume they don't know. That's not true. Not true.
I don't assume anything. I'm not assuming anything.
Yeah,
These are
but
conversations that I've had that this is what I've been asked for. There used to be a master email list for all departments, and they've asked to be put on a master email list. And I go and say, we don't have a master email list.
well,
Well,
if that's the police department, I will speak to the chief. We'll make sure that they're apprised of any and all of our activities, especially if they're special events.
Okay. I don't understand what the drawback is for having people more informed about events.
Well,
I think,
because
Jennifer, Meyer, if I may add, I'll give you one example. Chief Brennan's last call. Nobody in the building got an invitation for that because the police didn't send it out.
That's okay.
It doesn't matter. We will.
As the administrator, I personally, as the administrator, I had to go over and say, "Hey, we're doing the last call for the chief of police that's retiring after multiple years of service in this borough." I had to go seek that information out. So a lot of this is about who is sponsoring the event. That's where the ownership of this is. It's not about the administration having this wherewithal of sending out all this information to brass. We can put it all email. That's easy. That's very easy. But if I don't know when the chief is retiring, I can't send anything out. So it's a lot about what the sending agencies are about.
We will make sure
every
department. We will make sure every department is apprised of any and all special events.
Okay. That was all. That was all that I was.
They'll get used to it, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we will. There's a lot of points that we can take a look at, and by the way, we can always improve, always. So it's not going to be status quo, and if we can do something that makes it a little bit better, we certainly will. So with that, is there any more issues? New business? Hearing none. First, I'd like to thank our DPW again. With this last storm we had, they're great. Our roads were far superior to other towns. And by the way, we're not perfect when we do that, by the way. Every road is not perfect and every road is not black. There's roads that are icy, there's areas that are icy, but we do get to them. But the main function of getting our people in and out of town so they go to work is critical. And again, we'll keep improving on that. I have no doubt that it'll be good again. We have more storms coming up, but they'll keep doing a fine job. The revaluation, I want to be clear with people that this is not our idea. I'm perfectly happy with the way our valuation works and the performance of our tax assessor and the performance of our tax collector. They're fine. But there's this cockamamie rule from the governor or whoever the hell it is in Trenton that says we have to do this. And so, and people need to know that this is not our idea. We're perfectly happy with what we're doing and how we do it. And our people are perfectly capable. But of course, it works so well, we have to fix it. So we can be prepared for that. And it really just reshuffles the money. It doesn't change the money. It just reshuffles it. So they'll come in and look at your house and they say, oh yeah, well, you're okay. Well, yeah, you're out of the room. So we gotta change this or raise this. So, but we will do the revaluation because we're required to by statute. So, you can share that with folks. The last one we did, I really got a hard time for a lot of people. But I would accept that if it was our idea, but this is not. We will comply. We'll do it professionally. Our tax assessor does a fine job. She will be in charge of it and to make sure it's done correctly and efficiently and fairly, we hope. The ice eaters, talk about something that's deliberative. And I'll tell you right now, we need to look at that issue. Quite frankly, the conventional bubble system for docks work fine. These stupid ice eaters will clear 5 acres of water because the person don't manage them right. They turn them on and leave them on. And if you look at all this water, if you go down Lakeside Boulevard, just take a look and you'll see all this open water because someone running an ice eater for a 50-foot dock and they're clearing a half an acre of water. I'm going to, take a look at this. And I don't think that we should permit ice eaters, quite frankly. And, if someone wants to, that's just giving you my opinion now. And I'm giving the council something to think about. Take a look at ice eaters, talk to the Lake Commission, talk to some people that want to use the lake and enjoy the lake like they used to. When we have ice boats and skiers and ice skaters, you can't do that with these ice eaters anymore because they clear large sections of water, and I don't think it's good for the lake. And it's, in my opinion, is we got to take a look and see if we should really permit them or not. When conventional bubblers would do the same thing and better, and they're more controllable. Just my opinion, but that's going to come down, and I'm going to do a little more studies and talk to some other lake management people and the commission. Talk to Daniel McCarthy, and we'll get some input from the Lake Commission, but I really think we need to take a look at it as the borough because it's our ordinance that's based on the land. So, and if we're preventing a danger, we need to take a look at what we're doing with that. Mike Mastriani, a great young man. Ron, would you make sure we get that up on the electronic board? If we could do that picture that Ryan put up, that would be great. But let's recognize them, and maybe if you can get me to bio on them, we should probably do a proclamation. I'd love to do that. So if you could do that, I think that would be the proper recognition for this young man. We have so much in our town, so many people we should be proud of. Let's recognize them. I have a story to tell you. I get a call. Actually, I'm in the bank and talking to one of the people. She says, one of my neighbors, not real young, and they were out there cleaning the car off, and it was really slippery out. And one of our cops stopped and says, be careful with that. Let me help you. And one of our cops actually cleaned the ice off of her car, the hood, the roof, and while she watched, and he did it safely. I think that this is the kind of stuff that differentiates what we are about. It differentiates our police department, and it makes a statement as to the quality of the people in our town that work for the town, such as the police department and DPW. And I've seen our DPW people go out of their way individually to help some folks out. So I just wanted to make a point of that. I'm going to call Megan and let her know. And I don't have the name. I don't need the name. What I need to know is that our police do such a wonderful job with our community when they don't have to. And that goes for Jim Stillwell, what he does with the community. It's really important. The point I'm making is that it's important that we keep developing this relationship between the community and law enforcement. There's so many towns, so many cities where this doesn't happen. And it just makes me burst with pride to see that our town represents itself and our police represent our town so well. It's a good thing. COVID, please be careful. We're up over 600. I just got a call today. I think it was 76-year-old female was passed away because of COVID. And last week we had a 56-year-old male. So just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Is we just pay attention. I don't know, this Omicron or whatever the hell it is not a good thing. It's very catchy. And the more careful you are, probably the better off you are. And again, our budget, our CFO, my bean counter, and my administrator, who is the hitman when it comes to budget issues with department heads and departments, are doing a great job. And of course, you know my opinion on taxes. It's critical. We have to keep our town affordable, and we're going to do it. And by the way, we're also maintaining our high rating, which is AA+ rating, and our debt continues to go down. There's issues where we'd like to spend more money, but we can't. I'm talking to people now about the skate park. So if someone contacts any of the council or governing body about the skate park, it is on our radar. We were unsuccessful with a good sized grant. It went to the bigger towns. It didn't come to us, but I'm not surprised. I have a conference call on the 28th with an organization, a skate park organization, actually. And one of our residents pointed it out to me, and I will work with her on this. We will look at every possible way to get something in there for them kids to enjoy it. It's not a huge population, but it's important. And I think that we're going to pay attention to that. And maybe we can't do it this year, and we're going to keep working on it. And hopefully by next year, we can do something. Maybe not all, but something to show these kids. It's a very small population, but a very important population, that we do care about them, and we are going to spend some time with them. But, you know, we got paving, we got water, we got DPW, we got police, we got fire, we got ambulance. And so they demand a lot of our resources. So, you know, I don't want the skate park to get lost in the shuffle, and it won't. So we're going to keep working on that. So if someone call you about that, have them call me, give them my number, and I'll be more than happy to talk to them about it. But they are on our radar, and we might make some. I might make some suggestions on capital, and maybe every year we put some capital away for that. And after a year or two, or maybe 3, we're able to put something very nice in our skate park for them kids to work on. I don't have much else, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Third.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.